Fannie Mae shares halted on news that there would be a management shakeup. We had all kinds of information about that. And, you know, it was just an hour earlier that we had Mickey Levy, who's the chief economist of Bank of America, on Countdown to the Closing Bell. I asked him specifically when Treasury would jump in or whether Treasury would jump in to save this company. Hasn't happened yet, but here's what he had to say. Does Treasury jump in? This is what I've heard. One of these names, Fannie or Freddie, has to get down to $2 a share. Then it'll be so cheap that Treasury can then backstop them and fully save them. Or October 1st, when the housing bill kicks in.
I don't think it's going to be determined by some trigger price of those stocks. To me, it's almost imminent. And Fannie and Freddie have a huge amount of debt rolling over in September. There's this just huge amount of uncertainty. I think the Treasury is moving, very rapidly toward putting together a package, and they're minding all of the details. And I think we're going to see it sooner rather than later.
Do you agree, Pat Dorsey, that Treasury comes in sooner rather than later here?
I just don't know whether. Again, it all comes back to the capital ratios. I don't think it's the stock price that matters a whole lot. And, we get new data on the housing market daily, and I honestly don't know one way or the other. But at the end of the day, it's their financial position, not their stock prices, not market sentiment, not who's in the management suite that's going to determine things.
All right, Bob O'Brien, if the government does step in, how will they step in? Will they take, subordinated debt warrants in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Will they do a preferred equity stake in the two? What will the bailout, if it happens, look like?
Well, that's the big question, and this is one of the reasons why I say the Treasury is looking very ineffectual right now, because not only have they not suggested the timing of what they're going to do, they haven't given us any idea of what kind of a box they're going to build here. I mean, the simplest way to do this would be to backstop it, sort of affected with the way that the government bailed out the airlines, or, for example, Chrysler back in the 70s, where they effectively just guaranteed the debt, took back some paper from the company, which they subsequently sold at a profit, and use that structure to allow the company to sort of foster growth. But, the one question about the timing here, this may not be up to Treasury, because if these suckers go to zero and they're bankrupt, that's going to force the Treasury's hand.
Peter?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's no way that either is going to survive without some type of government help. And I think, unfortunately, the best thing to do is to let them fail. The government is probably not going to do that. They're going to find some way to salvage their functions, whether it's nationalizing the businesses with the hope of maybe one day spinning them off again in a different form. But whatever the government does, they're going to make it worse through the bailout. As bad as it would be to let them go under, that is a preferential
10 seconds, Gary Kay.
They should take a stake and stick it in their heart and let the private sector take over, just like Warren Buffett did with mortgage insurance recently, because where there's a profit, somebody's going to fill the void.
All right, gang, thank you very much. Still halted, I believe, for Fannie Mae.
Thank you, Ken.
Here's a look.